is even when God says no. That's what I love about David. As a leader, God has said you can't go because you have too much blood on your hands.
Yeah.
David finds a way.
He does.
He says, this temple is not going to be built without my involvement. I may not build it. He even had the blueprint, passed it to his son, but he mobilized everything. Welcome to Angie Monday on the Just Angie platform. My name is Angie Murenga. I'm here with Esther Waneki, Lapid Leaders, and we're discussing all things governance, all things leadership, and I hope you've been enjoying the series. This is part 4. So, Karibu, you ended on building.
On building.
And that word drives passion in me because of scripture. I think in November last year, we have a Thanksgiving and reflection retreat where we reflect on the year that was and project and pray into the year that's coming. Because it's important to give thanks. And then when I went to the International Pastors and Leaders Conference in Tampa, as soon as I got to my hotel room, I opened the Bible and it opened back to it. And it's in 2 Chronicles chapter 1, 2 and 3, where Solomon builds the temple. So it was like, wow, so this word of building has been coming. And for me, it's about building lives, building people, building communities, building organizations, building legacy, building potential, building. It's not just that, it's building people and drawing out the potential in them. And then this morning, I actually realized, as I allow you to share on building, that I'm a dream interpreter. You know, I've always thought I'm a Joseph. I know I'm a Joseph. But I thought I was a Joseph because of generations, living generational lineage, but providing solutions, which I still will. But this morning as I listened to the Bible, because now I didn't have time to read the Bible, so now technology has helped, so I listened to it. So what I'm able to do, I realized today, after all this time, is I'm able to interpret people's dreams or draw out the dream. With what you're sharing,
that's exactly you.
That's exactly what today I was like, my goodness, this is what I am. I help you to interpret your dream and build your dream. Because even as a coach, that's what I do. I help you articulate this dream and move it forward. But you have an organization called Lapid Leaders, which is building people. And I want you to talk about also the Obama Fellowship. By the way, congratulations.
Thank you.
Esther, we are so proud of you. And I hope you celebrated. You know, I don't think we don't do as Kenyans is celebrate the wins. You must celebrate. I hope you've celebrated, Esther. And if you haven't and you're out there and you're a friend, make us celebrate. Because I don't know how many, you're 3 Africans.
3 Africans.
1 Kenyan.
I'm the only Kenyan.
Which is the only Kenyan. How many people are on the Obama Fellowship?
20.
How did this come about? Because I feel it's also building your vision. So to be, that's not a joke. You know, Kenyans, how we like to not celebrate issues. We're not going to jump over this, Esther.
No, we won't.
This is
this one we will not.
Obama Fellowship, does it have a year? Obama Fellowship 2019?
2019.
And it will last for 2 years.
For 2 years.
So tell us about building people in terms of Lapid Leaders and how it comes with the Obama Fellowship and how you see yourself and what you need to build and what we need to build in this continent.
Okay. So I love so last year, one of the things that God sort of released for me towards the end was I'm born to build. And I think when you hear that story, when you talk about November, what my heart tells me is God released the same things.
Okay, me and you need to be having a catch-up date. Which catch-up date would we be having? Because it's like everything in our lives is going in tandem.
I'd been struggling with, there's a program we wanted to run, and I hadn't felt the release for it. Somewhere along the way, I read the book of Nehemiah, and I knew this is what God wanted us to do. We are born to build. This continent needs builders. Wow. We need to raise many builders, because that work for governance and taking back this continent is around builders. And it's builders who will go through the process of allowing God to build through them. Wow. It's the story of Nehemiah, but through many people.
And as you're speaking, I'm thinking build faith, build capacity,
build
ability. Dare people, because I think that's what Lapid Leaders does, and even PLF. That's what we do. Build your faith, build your capacity, build your ability, build your vision.
Yes.
Wow.
And so the other thing that I've heard from you that just sort of resonates with my spirit is when I was starting Lapid, one of the word that God gave me that's on what we have anchored Lapid on is the story of Solomon, actually, and how Solomon was called to build the temple. And so the background behind it is David wants to build the temple. And God tells him, you want to build that temple. But David does a phenomenal thing. He goes, he prepares everything
to build it.
That's
what I loved about David's story. What I learned from that story is even when God says no, that's what I loved about David. As a leader, God has said you can't go because you have too much blood on your hands.
Yeah.
David finds a way.
He does.
He says, this temple is not going to be built without my involvement. I may not build it. He even had the blueprint, passed it to his son, but he mobilized
everything. And everything, even resources.
That's what he did. He mobilized all the resources to build the temple.
He did.
He said, even if I'm going to find somehow to be involved in this thing. And he was.
Yeah. And I think that's what God called, for me, that was a vision God gave me. That our job is to prepare Solomons to do the work. And that means investing time, resources, preparing Solomon to the point he can put up the temple.
That is so crazy.
So I think, and the word that God just sort of gave was the next generation will build this continent. And your job is to prepare them.
And that's what I'm feeling as well, because recently somebody called me and said, oh, Pastor Angie, I have a word for you. So I said, okay. So they called and they told me that you, of course they didn't know about all this encounter I've been having with Chronicles, but that's what I like. Just like you received the word, it's a confirmation. And she said, I just want to tell you, God is saying you have a Solomonic anointing. I said, hey, good. Minus the 15,000 wives, but let's flow with what is good here. But again, confirming, building. So we're building a generation that's going to build this continent.
And I think for me last year, within PLF, one of the words we kept talking about, which for me resonated with my heart a lot, because what God had been preparing. I kept hearing God saying, we're stepping into a Joshua season. And so when I came here and I had the conversation for Joshua, for me the word Joshua really resonates with my heart. And it's the process that God takes him through Moses to prepare him to Joshua. And so I think Solomon, Joshua are people who were prepared by Solomon.
But they are coaches and they are mentors, if we say that in today's language, to do what they needed to do. And let me tell you something profound about Joshua. Joshua, and I think you have that personality. You see, Joshua was very quiet. You don't even see him there as Moses is preparing him. All he did was follow Moses.
He did.
He just followed Moses, sat, watched, observed. He was actually very quiet. He was that introvert. The way you were, the way you observed things at the different organizations that you worked in. You were an observer which built a foundation. That's what Joshua was. Joshua was an observer. He was behind the scenes, but kumbe, everything he's just getting strength. And that foundation to now come and build. And I think also for Joshua, coming to that story, is another element of that story is it must have been very hard for Joshua to step into Moses' shoes. Because Moses is known, he's the extrovert, he's the one that who murdered who. So he's the one who's doing miracles with God. But look at Moses. When he came, he was lying to Pharaoh when he started. By the end, he left with everything plus their gold, silver, everything about them. But imagine a Joshua stepping into, so it's to speak somebody out there. You're taking on a leadership position, although they're mentoring and coaching. It's hard to fill those shoes. You'll be compared to Moses, but I feel like Joshua had a resolve.
He did. And he'd learned, he'd been watching, he'd gone up the mountain. One of the things I find a lot of young people struggle with is, there's a time I was doing that study for the book of Joshua, and one of the things you hear Moses saying is, this boy went with me everywhere. I find a lot of young people struggle with that. We want to become Moses overnight. And we miss the loyalty. There's a verse, I can't even remember, but there's a loyalty you kept hearing Moses talking of Joshua. That loyalty is what makes Joshua. And we need to train and equip and mentor the next generation with loyalty. Because I think they are growing up in a time where things happen overnight. If you study Joshua's journey, before he becomes the leader, the journey beforehand is everything. There's no shortcuts.
And even I think of Jesus Christ. Why did he just land on the earth and do his thing? 30 years to grow. And it was 30 years for 3.5 years of ministry. That means this growing and process part is much more important. This building part, building capacity,
building
ability,
inward,
faith, strength is the most important thing to achieving the assignment.
That's very
powerful. And the assignment was not 30 years. The assignment was 3.5 years. So there's a time limit on this assignment.
There is. And actually that's very powerful, because I think we ran to the 3 years. Everybody wants the 3 years. But the 3 years will be what you did in the 30 years.
It's so true.
If you sat under people, you learned to listen, you learned to be led, then you can lead other people.
And then let me tell you something, it's like now the conferences that I even go for, and I try to go once a year. And that's my investment, that's my pilgrimage, that's my quiet time, I go. And it's my place to learn, because I'm always also giving, so that's the place I receive. So sometimes I do the maths, I complain about how costly it is. Really, should we do this? Can we invest in some plots or something? But when I'm there and I'm receiving all this information, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
So it equipped me, it sharpens me. I'm drinking, I'm processing, and I come home, then I'm able to share it and work it out. It's the most powerful thing. I can't exchange it for anything.
Yeah, and many of us miss it. So for me, 2014 to 2018, I worked. Though, I think God needed to teach me what building is like.
You worked at Lapid Leaders.
Yes, I gave everything. I will never be the person who glorifies the building process. No. I know it costs.
It costs a lot.
And it costs a lot.
It costs everything.
It costs actually everything.
It costs everything.
Everything.
I love all the critics, all the haters, they just...
Yeah.
But it costs
everything. Actually, that's exactly it. Because I'm about to hit 5 years. I've been reflecting on the last 5 years. And I've been, someone asked me the other day if you went back, if you would do it. I told them, you know, that one reason why God doesn't take people backwards is because there's a naivety you need to be able to build.
That is so true. You don't know how powerful that is. You need to know that you don't know.
Yes.
And even the Islamic bishop said that, he said, art of not knowing.
Yeah.
Because we go at things without knowing. The more I know, the more I'm becoming less aggressive.
Yeah.
I have to remind myself, hey, Masanji, wake up, let's go.
Yeah.
Because I know now, I know. So I get knowledge, then I say, this one is not possible.
Yeah.
We're not even going to try. Even last time, this didn't work. So I've already talked myself out of it. Whereas before, I would go anywhere and do anything and say anything he tells me with boldness and courage. But the more I live life, the more I get it beaten down, the more I think, maybe it's never that serious. Let's just relax when you can raise more people.
Yeah.
Raise others, you know?
Yes.
Because you want to give up.
Yeah, you do.
Because the journey is so hard.
It is actually really hard. So last year is when I really felt, here, this is a hard job. And it had been happening over time. So I could tell so last year was 2018, 2017 towards the end, I could tell there was another shift happening and I was tired. 2018, we got into a new space. We moved from one place to another, and the process of getting the space was draining. Moving from one corner to another, and I kept being told, we don't like working with young people. And I'm thinking, guy, these are your children. So if you don't want to work with young people, who will work with them?
Who will work with them?
So by the time I settled on the space, first I was tired. But I'm also, when I'm in a space, I want to be there. So I told God, I'll be here for this cohort. But imagine the second half, I can't. I need a break. I need something for me. And so I did the cohort, and I think my mind sort of just set on finish. And we had a fantastic cohort. A hard cohort, but fantastic. We were moving on grace. It wasn't normal. In fact, when we looked back with the council, the team that sort of ran the cohort with, we said, how did we do that year? But when it ended, it ended even for me. And it was very different. It was a very, very interesting season because I knew in my heart that I needed a break. Like I knew I wasn't going to continue without a break. I just knew, but I didn't know what that meant. So I remember in July, and one of the ways God speaks to me is through money and through brokenness. I started being really broke. And I asked God, what is going on here? You've sustained us. It's never been easy, but you sustain us.
That's exactly what I went through.
Yeah. And I remember having a conversation in my house and thinking, maybe. So I asked God, what is this? Because I've learned to listen when money starts to become a strain. And I started to ask God, maybe I was supposed to have finished this cohort, like I'm supposed to have closed. So I was paying rent and I'm trying to figure out where did the money for rent come from. And I just started thinking, maybe we were supposed to have closed in July. But I thought it didn't make sense for me to close July. I haven't given the lady who'd rented the space to us notice. And it's not fair for me to wake up and just tell her I have to go. But do you know, on 1st August, she was looking for me. Eventually I looked for her, I asked her, what's up? She told me, the owner now of this place has said she wants this land. And we actually have 2 days to leave. So I laughed. And then she asked me, she was actually apologetic. She's Dutch and she's a fantastic woman. She was very apologetic that she's throwing us off. But me, I knew it's time.
Let's take it off then. We have to do one more. So, I'm looking forward to seeing you next week on Monday. Taking back Kenya. All things leadership and all things governance. God bless.